As a family business of 75 years, we certainly didn't get here alone. We grew with the industry and the vessels themselves. This hasn't been without challenge. 14 administrations, the luxury tax, 9/11, and the credit collapse. We stuck together, and with true partners like trade associations and the world's largest boat show in our backyard, the marine industry is a huge success story. And this is our chance to tell it the Ward's way. Welcome to Season 5 of the Ward's Way podcast. I'm here today with my friend Jimmy Tate, with President and CEO of Tate Capital and owner of the Bahia Mar Hotel. Welcome, thank you, and what a wonderful show that we're having so far.
I'll tell you, it started off a little
I
scary
know,
with
Wednesday,
the rain,
oh man.
and we really didn't see many people throughout most of the day, and then all of a sudden we had postcard weather yesterday and today and Thursday, and couldn't ask for a better show, better weather.
Well, and I think you and I were at the same luncheon on opening day, and somebody was referring to the rain as liquid sunshine, and I used that all day, and people were like, really? But it's true. It was liquid sunshine. The sunshine's coming. You just had to be patient. So one of the things that the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show, this is the 66th year, and it's been located, other than 1 year, at Bahia Mar every year from that. What made you interested in this property, and what is your vision? We all, with bated breath, want to hear.
You know, it's interesting. I said this on a panel I was at the ULI DDA conference this past year. Honestly, when we looked at the property was brought to us, we didn't have a vision. We just looked at this as one of the most iconic assets anywhere in the state of Florida. I mean, where else do you find a piece of property that's a peninsula? You have a world-class marina, Bahia Mar Marina, to your west, your north, and your south, and you have the beautiful Atlantic Ocean unobstructed to your east.
You're right.
On private bridge. So it was just such a unique piece of property. In real estate, you say location, 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 and this checked off all the boxes. And my father has owned and operated many hotels, but it was really my brother, my first endeavor, and Sergio Rock's first endeavor into the hotel business. And I loved it because I like people. And, you know, as I tell all the employees at the hotel, we are all ambassadors. We're ambassadors for the Bahia Mar.
You're right. That's a good point.
Right? And our goal is to make sure that everybody that comes onto our property has the best experience they can possibly have. And if we can't relay that message, both from a product and a service perspective, then we failed. So I'm an ambassador. You guys are all ambassadors. Let's make sure everyone that enters our property, our guests, have a great experience. So
now, this hasn't been a short trip for you, though. When did you buy the property?
So we first started looking at it in 2013. It was really interesting because I didn't have the history.
Okay.
Right. So we're real estate developers, commercial, multifamily, condos, industrial, office, etc. Never a marina and never a hotel.
This hotel that hosts the world's largest boat show.
It was very fun. I was meeting with a friend of mine at Goldman Sachs, and he goes, I'm going to bring along a friend. And his name was Bobby Christoph, and we met in Miami at Zuma. No rhyme or reason for the meeting, just to catch up, and no rhyme or reason why he brought Bobby Christoph. But I don't believe in coincidences.
Right.
And I learned during the meeting that Bobby and his father owned and operated the RCI Marina, the marine industry of marinas, and they owned the Miami Beach Marina and Montes and others. And we just hit it off. It's just one of these things. I go with my gut. I've always gone with my gut. I liked him. I liked his personality. I liked his energy. And there's just a trust factor. And I'll never forget, I left the meeting, and we had just put this under contract. I didn't say a word to him. So my friend at lunch from Goldman Sachs, Edward, he had no clue. This was just a clean meeting. And I called Bobby up. I go, Bobby? He goes, yeah. I go, this is Jimmy Tate. We just had lunch. He goes, yeah, I know. We just exchanged numbers. And I'm like, I'm going on a whim here, but I got a really good feeling. He goes, I said, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to put down the bat dome. And he goes, bat dome is down. What? I go, really confidentially, I just put the Bahia Mar in Fort Lauderdale under contract. He goes, I'm in.
Oh, good. Wow, that's awesome. And I have met him before at Miami Beach Marina. Great energy, so I understand that.
So I said, great. He goes, what are the details? I go, once I figure them out, I'll call you. And so, and I realized that they were marine operators,
Yep.
and I knew they had a great reputation, and we knew nothing about the marine industry. And so I felt if we could bring our real estate knowledge and expertise to the table, and he could bring the marina industry to the table, it would be a great partnership.
Yep.
And they wanted to vest, and they did, so they were our partners, and it was just a great relationship. But at the very first meeting, I met with Bob and his dad, and they said, listen, before you close, you need to meet with the Marine Industry Association of South Florida, and you need to meet with Skip Zimbalist. I go, who's that? He goes, he owns the boat show, probably your biggest tenant. And I'm like, all right, let's meet with him. Like, not understanding any of the dynamics, not understanding any of the history. And it was my first meeting I had prior to meeting with the city manager or anyone else who was with those groups. And we met, and we sort of had a meeting of the mind, and I understand what their issues were in the past. And I said, look, we just want to do a good job, right? And if you're fair with us, we'll be fair with you. If you're truly an asset, which I understand you are, then there's plenty of room in this sandbox. So let's just play fair and let's work it out. I'm trusting we'll figure something out. And we then met with the city manager and told him in confidence, because I knew Lee Feldman from when he was city manager in North Miami. So I had all these little confidential conversations going on before we ended up acquiring the property. So I knew I had a lot of the pieces at least identified. I wouldn't say the pieces of the puzzle were put together, but all the pieces of the puzzle were identified.
Now, you did leave one out, the Marine Industries Association, which actually owns the show.
I said the Marine Industries
Association. Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
all right. I had to put it in. Sorry.
So Phil was at the very first meeting.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, and Skip.
That's right. You did. Okay.
So 100%. So I said
everybody's together.
I now understood the players. I understood the.
Did you understand that the show was 30 days really for you?
No.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people know that. So by 30 days, just for everybody else, it's a 30-day cycle from start to set up to the time they
Which
leave.
Also brings in its own dynamics for
That's
the
a
marine
lot,
industry,
right.
because we can't do annual leases. We can do 11-month leases.
Gotcha.
So I quickly learned that during the due diligence. But again, where there's a will, there's a way, and where there's a mindset, you can figure it out. And if you remember, I actually met with your board.
I do.
Because there are all these rumors circulating. We're going to destroy the boat show, and we're going to knock you guys out of the sandbox. And,
right.
And I met, I think...
Which is silly, by the way. It's just one of those things that, there's a fear of change.
Right.
But if anybody's been to Bahia Mar, and not to interrupt you, it desperately needs to be redeveloped. So I think I remember being there, and it was like, look, we can either invite in and have a conversation and we can talk about this sandbox, or it's going to get redeveloped and you're not even sitting at the table, meaning you're on the menu. So,
right.
Okay.
And I'm glad you said that, because at that very first meeting when I met with your board, I said, look, before we go to the street, I know based upon research, everything the community wants. What I really don't understand is what you guys want. So why don't you work with our designer, EDSA?
Yep.
You guys build the blueprint you want, we'll design around it.
And that meant, how do you fit this with your development? How do we fit the show into that?
Exactly.
Yeah, and literally every booth, not kicking anybody out, saying, okay, you have this many exhibitors, you were willing to say, right. How do we put them all in?
And we did. And so when we first came out, it was more the community that was, raising the red flag and didn't want 2 high-rise towers, which was great because it accommodated a beautiful outside show with your tents and all that. So then we had to go back to the drawing board, and again we had your team and Marine Industry Association South Florida, and before it was Informa, it was show management.
Mm-hmm.
They met with EDSA again, and they said, all right, from an outside venue, we're going to create a beautiful indoor venue where we're going to convert the garage, which was very expensive. That means we had to do higher ceilings. We had to put in all the mechanical, all the electrical. So,
all the tie downs, right. Air conditioning,
actually,
ability.
Exactly.
Yep.
So we designed a plan around that would allow us to also do per code as a right for the rest of the development. And then there were certain people that didn't like that. So.
But meanwhile, there's a lot of time that's gone by in this. This wasn't like 2 meetings in 2 months. This is
11 years,
yes.
Over $10 million of different iterations of site plans, approval processes.
So there was a lot of time, effort, and money going into this to work with the industry.
And aggravation.
I'm sure.
Yes.
That's a given.
Yes, yes. But you know what? At the end of the day,
So
you
what
know,
is it? So at the end of the day, it was
so
solved.
so at the end of the day, we thought we had a plan, we had a lease, we had everything approved, we had a site plan
Yep.
approved. And again, the best, the lesson out of this is everybody just needs to be honest and transparent. You
Okay.
know, because I think there were so many external factors. Somebody was trying to please somebody, and they really weren't truthfully happy.
Okay.
That's how I conclude all this. I don't think there was any intentions. I just think that somebody from show management was trying to please somebody, someone from the Meat Industry Association was trying to please somebody. We were trying to please everybody, and nobody was really being forthright and tell us what you guys really wanted. And I think at the end of the day, when we finally had a plan that we thought everyone wanted, and we had a lease and we had an agreement, we learned it really wasn't what everybody wanted.
Okay.
So there was another delay,
And why do you think that is? Do we think I feel like the reason is because it's so this property means so much to so many people that while they don't want it, they know it needs upgrading. They know it absolutely needs to be redeveloped. They don't want to lose what they have, and there's fear.
So, you know, you say that, and I agree if this was a 5-star luxury branded property.
Right.
But it's a
I
70-year-old
agree.
tired property. And even though we put $20-some million into the hotel and the pool deck and the marine, you know, you forget the Marina Village, which
Right.
we put another $20-some million into.
Which
It
is
was still-
beautiful, by the way.
It
and
is,
it
and it's
really cleaned up, and it's so cool.
It was a great
It
activation
adds-
of
it is, I
an
agree.
underutilized parking facility.
It is.
And it was a good give back for the city, and it showed everybody it's a precursor of what we can do.
I agree.
But getting back to
Yep.
the main Bahia Mar and our tower and the hotel, it's a 50 to 70-year-old tired asset.
Everybody would agree with that.
And, you know, I won't quote who it was, but someone in the marine industry group said you can't put lipstick on a pig.
Okay.
And that's what you guys are trying to do. And they weren't wrong. But again, from our perspective, we were trying to appease
Yep.
the locals because they felt they had a connection to this iconic hotel. And what we really end up realizing, there were just certain people just didn't want anything developed here. They wanted it to be a parking lot forever.
Okay.
And we realized, look, you got to go with the moral majority. You got to talk to everybody. And we did extensive reach out to the entire community. Mainly, obviously, people live around here because they're the ones that are mostly affected. And we did the best job we could to understand what a majority of the people within the city, and obviously now Informa and the Marine Industry Association of South Florida, what everybody really wanted. We once again went back to the two groups and said, guys, here we go again. Tell me.
Third time's the charm.
Right, third time's the charm. Tell me what you'd like to see. I believe it should be an outside show. You guys think it should be an outside show. Let's do it all on the waterfront. We'll figure out how to put our assets in the middle of the property so we can have all open space. We'll do a beautiful 25-foot wide boardwalk around the property for the rest of the year. People can enjoy the marina
Absolutely.
and the views. It's almost 3/4 of a mile. It's going to end at the Shorely and the Marina Village, which is a great food and beverage, venue and great entertainment and just a great atmosphere for boaters and people just like to be on the water,
Sure.
have a drink, kick it back and relax. And it's really a great venue.
And by the way, there's a shortage of that.
There is.
There is,
Which
so
is shocking.
I agree.
Because this is Venice of America, right? Or Monaco, whatever you want to call it. It's a beautiful area with a lot of waterfront, and there's not many places to go by boat. And so we felt, why don't we turn the Marina Village and the Shorely into a food and beverage experience on the water, great ocean breezes from the prevailing winds from the ocean, beautiful views of the marina. And it's interesting, after COVID, we were just going to put a barge as the epicenter. And we couldn't find a barge anywhere in the country. And originally when we bid it out, they were about $200,000. After COVID, the whole country, there's a shortage of barges. I don't know why, but there were. So I called a friend of mine, Jeff Peck, and he said, listen, I'm friends with the owners of St. John's Shipyard in Jacksonville. why don't you see if they could build you a barge? So we did. We hired a naval architect engineer, designed a plan. It was still going to be $2.5 million to build a barge. I'm like, 2 years ago, this was, maybe 200,000 to buy a barge.
Wow.
I said, I'm not doing it. So he said, listen, we just built 4 brand new barges for Fisher Island. I took 2 back in trade. I'll basically give you one. And which there's no such thing as a free gift.
Right.
So the $475,000 out of my pocket gift ended up costing us $5.5 million to renovate it. But we now have a world-class facility that is not only the talk of the town, but I'm getting calls from people in New York and Chicago and Lakes of Ozark. Can you reproduce a Marina Village with a Shorely on our waterfronts? And I said,
This is so like you had no idea
No
this is going to
idea.
be your future development.
and I'm like, I can, but that's not really what I do. And meanwhile,
But are you? Are you going to do one or two?
we're talking
Okay.
to some people
You
right
know,
now.
you kind of want to do like one.
It's been fun.
Right.
I mean, it's really been fun because we get 4,000 or 5,000 people every weekend walking through the Marina Village. It's really, it's
great.
unbelievable.
It is.
And everybody's very complimentary of the experience. So again, as I said, it just shows the community that whatever we do and we put our mindset to, it's going to be best in class, first class, great product, great service, great quality food, great experience. And my only requirement is, I don't care if you're a billionaire that owns a hotel down the street or someone that just got off work. Attitudes and wallets are checked at the door.
Okay.
You come on my property, we're all here to have a good time.
Well, there you go. That's
No
a good
attitudes.
one. All right. So
No.
what's it going to look like?
So we then decide, all right, we finally figured out a plan that's going to work. So we got the master plan approved by the city. We got the new
Yep.
100-year lease approved by the city.
Which wasn't that long ago. Maybe
About 2 years
2 years ago. Okay.
We figured out how to get the air rights for the CDD and for the condos. So all the pieces of the puzzle were together. The boat show was happy. They're now going to have a world-class boat show on 7.2 open water, contiguous upland property. It's going to be phenomenal.
Amazing.
And we're smart. They're going to now work with our designers, so they're going to put in all the infrastructure.
Excellent.
So it's going to be plug and play. It's going to be easier for them to set up, easier for us. It won't
Shorter
be
time frame,
shorter
maybe?
time frame.
Good.
It's going to be more efficient for everybody. And you know what? At the end of the day, it was about partnership, communication, and honesty.
Yep.
And once everybody started working together and realized this was a fait accompli, we had a great result. So now we said, all right, who's the right product? Who's the right brand? And we went back and forth. And we ultimately decided that St. Regis was the right brand. White glove service, great product, great quality,
Okay.
just everything that we believe
Checked
that
all the
this-
boxes.
Checked all the boxes. And they were really excited about it. And it was interesting. When they flew down, we took them on top of the current tower, showed them the panoramic view. They were like, holy
Oh,
shit,
yes.
this is amazing.
Nobody could say otherwise.
We then walked over to the Marina Village to have something to eat. We went on the Shorely and had drinks on the second floor, and they're like, is this ours to control the venue too? And I go, no, this is mine.
Stay away.
You can use it for events, but no, this is mine in the cities.
Yep.
This is beautiful. So within 4 months, we had a deal. And it was I think it was one of the fastest transactions Marriott has ever done,
Wow.
especially for their top tier brand. So we knew we were going to get a very exclusive 5 to 6 star level brand, great name, great image, great branding at our property, and they were all in. And we worked cohesively with Tara Bernard, our designer out of London, and we put together a product that is second to none on a property that is second to none. This is a once in a lifetime, and sales have been through the roof.
Good.
And everybody was so concerned that the boat show hurts our sales. We actually sell more.
I think I asked you that. I
Yes,
said, is
right.
it harder for you?
We sell more in a week at the boat show than we do in a month or 2 months.
Wow.
I mean,
Good.
it's really because the boat show brings the buyers. The boat show, if someone's buying a $10 million yacht or a $100 million yacht or a $50 million yacht or even $1.5 million, toy boat,
Right.
they can certainly afford either a condo hotel or one of our residences. And one of the things we found, which was always in our head, is that the yachts all stayed here, but the owners always stayed in Miami. And so we were always working with the captains and the crew, which was fine, but that's who we were accommodating. And we're like, why don't we build a product where the owners want to be here? And that's what we did, and it worked to perfection, because now the owners of the yachts are buying our residences.
Wow.
Because they'll
that's
stay in the
good.
residences, they'll keep the yachts behind here, and it's a win-win for everybody.
Has it been helpful with Pier 66 coming online and similarly
Look,
yachts and condos?
I
and...
am a believer that all ships rise in a rising tide, right? So I didn't coin that phrase, but it's so true, because
I agree.
I want them to be successful. Hopefully they want us to be successful.
100%.
I know we got some exciting new luxury branded resorts coming online. I heard, I can't say, but real close to us, 2 of them. And the Four Seasons is doing exceptionally well. So, it's not like the upper tier market is going to drive anybody out. As I said, there's room for everybody, and the more people that come to Fort Lauderdale and recognize what a beautiful paradise this is,
It's true.
the more people are going to want to come here, not just to visit, but to stay and move their families.
That's right.
Listen, we have a no tax state. We were the only state that was really open during one of the worst pandemics in
Agreed.
the world. And people recognize the value we have. We laugh, we don't want people, but we do want people.
We do want
because
people.
the more people, the more business, the more energy, the more activity, it's just a better experience, right? And it allows the city then to not raise taxes, but to have enough income to pay for the services
Yes.
that all the hotels and all the people and all the amenities and all the condos they do use, right? So better money for police and fire rescue, better parks, better schools, better services. And so I think everybody does better when we as a city rise up. And so it's a win-win.
So 12 years later,
12
and
years
tens
later.
of millions, when
Here
do
we
you
are.
get to start?
Well, we are hopeful that we have 50% pre-sales on phase 1 sometime during 2026, and the goal is, so we don't disrupt the boat show, that we'll start right after the 2026 boat show.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
next year.
So that's what we're banking for. That's
Good.
where sales are trending, and we've had great energy this boat show.
Good.
We actually had 25 reservations last boat show, but we weren't able to get the sales center up and the condo docs done timely.
True, it's hard.
And there's just so many moving pieces, and so we lost a lot of them, so we had to start all over. But before this boat show, we were about 35 contracts, and my goal for this boat show will be another 15 to 20. So,
Well, you definitely have the very good weather for the last couple of days. You're coming into the weekend. It's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
doesn't get much nicer.
And I hope that you get some traction after that. And I think for those that are exhibitors and people, businesses that are, this boat show means so much to, and I know that you know that. The boat show, especially 12 years of research and embedded in it, means so much to not only the community, but countries. Italy is across over here, Germany, businesses all over the world. The goal is still to protect the show, correct?
Exactly.
Why would you kick out the one thing that's helping you?
So that was
I just want to put that out there.
I hate to say it,
No, go ahead,
that
say
was
it.
just another false narrative.
Yeah,
So when you have, and I'm going to call them gadflies because it describes, when you have certain people that I call them disruptors,
Yep.
they have no agenda.
Other than just to-
they don't want development. They don't really care about the boat show. And they don't really care about the Bahia Mar.
Community.
They don't really care about the community. They really just care about themselves. They moved here 30, 40, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, raised their family, and they don't want any development.
Any change.
And you know what? That's not what Florida's about. We need to evolve. We need to be better. We need to communicate. We need to understand, the concerns of the people that lived here and not step on them or push them aside. But there's room for everybody. And if you want to have improvement in your backyard, you need development, because development solves a lot of ills. People don't realize this, but without development, you're not going to solve the sustainability and resiliency issues. You're not going to, where are you going to get the money to do it?
Right. No,
Except
it's true.
through development. So it's a necessary evil, and I don't think it's an evil. I think it's a diamond in the rough that people just need to recognize. There should be a great partnership. Now, you need responsible developers and people that understand the importance of being here. what most of the people in Fort Lauderdale didn't even realize is my brother lives in Fort Lauderdale. My daughter, my granddaughter, my daughter, her husband and granddaughter live in Fort Lauderdale. My niece and her husband and grandkids live in Fort Lauderdale. My wife and I just bought a unit here at the St. Regis.
Good for you.
And our partner Sergio Rock did as well. So, and I'm born and raised in Miami Beach. So
you're going to be here.
We're South Floridians. We understand. We put our pants on one leg at a time. We're no different than anyone that lives here. I grew up on an island on Miami Beach. I get it, right? But I also understand it's important to bring in responsible developers who care about the community, who want to give back. I mean, one of the things we're doing is from our sales, we set up 5 trust funds. Nobody asked us for this. We believe from the initial sales based upon where we're selling at, we'll be able to fund those with approximately $5 million. And then every resale, we have a small fraction of a percent that goes into this fund. And those are to help areas within the city that we think need help. Resiliency, environmental, workforce housing.
Boy, that's true.
STEM programs for those less fortunate that don't have access, homelessness, etc. And if more developers would think about giving back to the community instead of instead of just developing and taking from the community, I think then the community, the people that live there will recognize, hey, it's okay to have responsible developers develop in our society. So we're trying to show the community we're not just here to take, we're here to give back, and we want to be partners.
Well, one of the reasons I wanted to meet with you is because what developer waits and is patient? And I'm not saying it's all been pretty, and I'm not saying that people haven't had meetings where this one's, some are good and some are bad, but it's 12 years is a long time to wait to develop one. Now, I know you have other business avenues and I understand you have other projects, but that's a long time. That means that you are truly caring about this property and what's going on, and you've been embedded in the community, like you said. So
we're committed, and I believe in this property. I believe in the end product that we're going to deliver with our partners, Related Group and the Rock family.
Good.
We put together an all-star team to pull this off. That's why we brought in George Perez, John Paul Perez, and Nikki Perez and their whole team, because they bring in a whole nother level of expertise to perform. And one of the things I said to the city is, give us these entitlements and we will perform.
Okay.
And so it wasn't about being greedy and us just doing it on our own and do it slowly. I brought in the Related Group because I felt that not only won't they perform, but they'll perform at a very high level.
And they too are from here.
And they too are from, yes. So, this is a local group, local families. We're all family businesses, family offices, and we care about the community. And we're going to deliver. And look, some people say I'm tenacious. I am, but I'm only tenacious with things I believe in. And one of the best lessons for me that I was able to show my kids is that you don't quit. If there's something you believe in, you put your nose to the grindstone and you just keep driving forward. You put on your blinders, you don't listen to the white noise, stay focused, stay hungry, and you hunt.
My dad's saying to me is persistence pays.
Yes, it
Persistence pays. Just stick with it. Same thing. So it must be.
So.
Well, I think that people are going to be excited. Are you planning on doing any kind of, what could I say to exhibitors and people that say things to me or say things to the marine industry, that it's going to be a world-class facility? You will get to have you're going to have a better booth.
100%. Their show is going to be elevated to a whole nother level. And people from around the world are not going to want to fly in and fly out for the day. They're going to want to come and stay and play and be a part of the experience, which has been an issue. People fly in and they fly out. They're here for a day. If we give them a place to stay or a place to own, they're going to want to stay here.
Right.
And that's better for all the exhibitors, because people will come and they'll spend money, but they can only see so much. This show is so big.
It is.
It takes 5 days to truly see all of it.
It really does.
I mean, truly see it and stop and understand all of the booths and everything this show has to offer.
1,200 businesses, on display.
So what you should tell all the exhibitors is, take a chill pill. It's only going to get better. Nobody's driving you out. We designed a plan around you to make your show best in class, world class, so that you'll always have waterfront all around you. You'll always be
still be an outside show.
Still going to be an outside show.
Which is amazing.
And it's going to be a quicker setup, better show, better function, and a better. Think about this. This show has developed because of its own success. And it actually became a victim of its own success.
You're right.
Right? So you put this tent here, you put this tent there, and it was based upon need and not really master planning. Our new plan has been master planned to perfection.
That's amazing.
So you have some of the greatest minds, the greatest engineers, the greatest architects, master planners involved in putting together a show that's going to be, I call it paint by number. You're going to know exactly where to go, where every exhibitor is at. It's going to be so easy. It's going to be world class. The tents are going to be made permanently for these locations.
Wow.
And they're going to be stored and then plugged and played.
That's
Electricity.
awesome.
You're not going to have all these generators. You're not going to have all this mechanical stuff sticking. It's all going to be below ground.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That is
so
incredible.
tell the exhibitors, don't believe the white noise.
Not
Don't believe the
gonna.
false narratives. Pay attention to facts and data because that's what matters.
And is there a place they can go to get that? Is it on Tate Capitol? Is it at St. Regis?
It's at the St. Regis, our sales
Okay.
center. We show the
Okay.
whole show. We actually have
Awesome.
a beautiful model, 3D model that shows the show, shows the marina, shows the finished product, shows the open space.
And where is this? This is right
It's
at
at the St. Regis Sales Center, which that's the northeast quadrant of the Bahia Mar property,
Okay.
immediately adjacent to the Marine Industry Association and Informa's new offices
Perfect.
on
Okay.
Seabreeze.
Okay. So that
Immediately
therefore
south,
people
next door. Yep.
can do that, and I'll share that.
100%.
When is the grand opening party?
Yeah.
What boat
Well,
show will that be?
Grand open. Well, we believe that once we break ground in about 30 months, we should be able to start delivering products.
So we should say by boat
Subject
show
to force majeure.
2029.
That's
Hopefully.
What
That would be the brand new.
That's what Marriott's looking for.
Oh, that would be awesome. So 2029 would be our first beautiful show here. I'm excited.
So
I'm
am I.
excited.
How can
And
you not be?
anything that I can do, or Wards Marine, we've been a founding exhibitor. We're going to continue to be an exhibitor, family business as well. But anything that we can do to help share that information and get the message out. If there's companies you want to reach out to, I know you're working with the marine industries, but I think the more we can share that this is going to be beautiful and exciting and an elevation,
Right.
that's what people need to get excited
And
about.
again, elevated product, elevated show.
Absolutely.
Elevated experience for everybody.
Doesn't get any better. Thank you, Jimmy, for
Thank
coming,
you.
and thank
Really
you for
nice.
being here.
Yeah.
I appreciate having you. You heard it here on the board.